right, is there any doubt that this is March 5th? It's Wednesday. It's about 8:30 in the morning. And I gave you a beautiful minute of Epidemic Sound instrumental. It's really kind of a cool music. I don't feel like I'm in a dentist office. It's really quite nice. And the music comes and goes. Here we go. Now I got a new little doodad. It runs for 3 hours and 2 minutes or something like that. Let's see if I can actually see that. 3 hours, 1 minute, and 24 seconds. Yes, sir. That's a long time, right? Yeah. So, I think I might have reached 3 hours one time. Lots of times I go 2 hours. This could be one of those days. I don't know. Depends on how talkative I am. I'm pretty talkative. Yep, there I am. I'm on the right side of your screen. I should always be on the right side, as opposed to being on the wrong side. Little sip of warm coffee this morning. Yeah, I mean, gosh. Marilyn circled back to the boudoir and shook my foot. Get up. I was like deep sleep. Yeah, oh boy. Watched the 9 o'clock Trump speech in front of a joint session of Congress. It's not they don't call it a State of the Union, because since he was just elected president, he may not know the State of the Union as presidents go, but not this one. He knows the State of the Union. It's AFU. Yeah. The A stands for all, and the U stands for up. You can figure out the middle word. Typical. You've heard of the military acronym SNAFU. Situation normal. A for all. Up. Situation normal. All screwed up. Yeah. Yeah. Not under Pete Hegseth. He's a pretty serious dude. Yes, he was on Fox News in the morning, on the weekends. I don't know if he did anything else. But the guy is a serious character. He served in the army. He had 3 deployments, including Afghanistan and Guantanamo. He actually had a tour of duty in Guantanamo when they had some pretty serious people locked up there. I think I think he went to Princeton, Harvard, Princeton, Yale. Those are like when I was, 17 and a half years old, wondering what am I going to do with the rest of my life now that high school is almost over. And I remember, just Harvard, Princeton, Yale. Stanford should have been up there too, but it wasn't. Harvard, Princeton, Yale. That is, MIT, pretty nice. But it was considered a second, it wasn't Harvard, Princeton, Yale. It should have been the Big Five: Harvard, Princeton, Yale, MIT, and Stanford. Not necessarily in that order. Yeah. Well, Hegseth, I believe, graduated from Princeton. And then he went on and got an advanced degree at Harvard. And if I remember correctly, he was all yacked off one morning, on live television. He brought his Harvard diploma to Fox News, I don't know whether it was during the week or weekend, and tore the sucker in half and sent it back to him. He said, I don't want this goddamn diploma. I think I'd asked Harvard for, may I have a reproduction of that one? Could you send me another one? I think I want to put that back in the frame. He was mad because Harvard wouldn't acknowledge this or that, or it's just being a bunch of liberal. It's got $400 billion dowry. They have unbelievable cash reserves from people that send money. They'll say, get out of Harvard, Princeton, Yale, Stanford, or MIT. They graduate from these schools, and they send back a lot of money because they make a lot of money, and so they have huge cash reserves sent by their alumni. Yeah. I was all set, to do the advanced degree business. I don't know. I screwed up. I should have done it. I would have gotten scholarships. I had 2 scholarships to med school, for God's sakes, and four went those. And now you say I didn't do it. Because my girlfriend, whose father was a doctor of some sort. I don't remember what he did medically, but his daughter didn't know who he was because he was always, doctoring. When you get in, I can imagine, I would have been an intense medical. I remember when I was back in those days, I switched. It was like in my sophomore year. I said, you know what? Chemistry is interesting, and let's do the biology thing because medical, that's like working on the human engine. Let's get in there and figure out what makes this thing tick. Let's see how that works. And they were just, getting into the nuclei and the DNA and just how that works. I don't know if they know how it works yet, quite frankly. Is the music okay? It sounds a little intense there in the background. Maybe it's just my headphones. Let's turn that down a couple of dB. I got a little dB scale here. Yeah, we are at 6 dB. My microphone is up. I think that's okay. Yeah. Because I can get down here and get real serious with you all. If you don't want to pay attention to me, I can make this thing rumble, if you know what I mean. Heel. Robert Heel invented this unbelievable microphone. I think it's called the PR40. He numbered them sequentially. They had the PR39, the PR38, the PR30. Some of these are handheld microphones that performers grip in their hand and sing into. This is a PR40, which is his most advanced design. And do I have a... Okay. I just sent my... let's see, can I show it to you? I just sent my doctor a fax. See that? It says fax. All right, I'll show you what it says. We're trying to... let's see. I'm trying to... there it is. I'll let you look at it. What the heck? There's a patient. There I am. 416-1100. James. Message. This is like the cover page. And I'm talking about my United Healthcare effective 3/1/25. This is 3/5. So it just started. You know, I had another insurance which was terrible. They kept on officially declining me for my medicines. That ain't, what? What do you mean you're declining me? And it's not even, you know, fancy stuff. I mean, give it a rest. God. Well, they just, you know, they kept declining me. So I said, you know what? This has got to go. Let me call my brother-in-law, Bob Beatty, the husband of Jane Beatty, Marilyn's sister's husband. I think that makes him a brother-in-law, maybe? I don't know. It's not an uncle or a cousin, so let's try brother-in-law. Yes, sir. And he's got all kinds of medical stuff going on, you know. He's like 6'6", but he can't stand up straight, so he's about 5'8". I can stare him right square in the eye now. With all his medical, he just had a knee replaced, and oh God, I didn't even want to think about it. Marilyn had half a hip replaced, and she was up walking around the next day, I think. You know, what? So we go into Marilyn's doctor. He just did a hip replacement. She goes back into his office. Of course, I'm driving her there because, you know, I like to be in the medical suite room when they talk to Marilyn. I like to be there because she listens to what the doctor says. I listen to what the doctor... So between the two of us, we probably have figured out, you know, what they were talking about. And if it sounds a little obscure, you know, I'm the guy that almost went to medical school, right? I'm kind of circling around with that little conversation. Anyway, so here I'm giving my doctor some advice on how to write the prescription. Can you imagine? I don't know my ass from fat meat here. I'm 103 years old, and I'm telling my doctor what to do. All right, let's read this. Healthcare. I have a PPO with United Healthcare. I have a marvelous agent, by the way. If you need a good agent and you're looking to change up, David Turner. Yes. I believe that's his name, David Turner. Boy, did he is on the spot. You know, he really gets stuff done. You know, you got to sign this and sign that, and you electronic, and they mail it, and then you got to, you know, they're very careful about how they get things done. You got the medical professional ethics thingy going on here. Anyway, here's my fax. The supplier is Lincare. We're talking about my portable oxygen concentrator that I'm supposed to take on an airplane in case, you know, I just need to have a little... You know, I need a little boost in the oxygen because my blood oxygen, if I get too excited about what's going on, or, you know, you're running through the airport like O.J. Simpson used to, my blood oxygen drops in the low 80s. That's not good. It's supposed to be high 90s, and my SO2 is... around 80 something. No. So that's why Inogen INOGEN, has provided a device called the G, like good, the Good 5, G5. Being the technology guy that I am, I read the service manual for the Inogen G5 to see if I was capable of servicing this device, because there's certain things that you replace from time to time. So reading the service manual, as I did, I noticed on page 24, and then I say it may be best to show on the prescription a flow rate range between settings 3 and 6, which delivers oxygen. Remember, you're breathing that in along with the ambient air. It's not like a sealed mask that, blood sucking. It's, if you breathe in, you can, the oxygen is in addition to the ambient air, which has oxygen. So you're concentrating it so that you have a higher level of oxygen. So instead of, the normal ambient atmosphere at STP, standard pressure and temperature, like 68 degrees and, you're at sea level, that kind of thing. Standard temperature and pressure. Sea level and 68 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay? That's STP, round numbers. You need to know that as a chemist. Anyway, so at STP, you have, about 20% oxygen, and the rest of the atmosphere is like 79% nitrogen, which that's a lot, which is, in a sense, chemically inert to the human body, because you just breathe that in and out and it doesn't do anything. Your blood doesn't get saturated with nitrogen. No. Your lungs suck out the oxygen from the ambient air. And so this device gives you a little more oxygen instead of just 20%. It might boost it to 40%. That wouldn't, that's about a fair assumption. So the flow rate will give you 630 milliliters per minute. As you're breathing in the ambient air, you're also breathing in 630 milliliters. And if you turn the thing up to 6, which is the highest volume of concentrated oxygen that you can get, that'll give you 1,260 milliliters per minute. Okay, of pure oxygen, or almost, like 90% oxygen. They call it an oxygen concentrator. Yeah. So if we do those ranges, that should, keep Medicare happy. So where's my graph? There it is. So I sent the fax and I attached this graph on page 24 of the service manual. Hello. I'm the third person on the planet that has actually read the Inogen G5 flow settings. So you see on the very top there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they're going that way. And then you have breathing rate per minute on the Y scale. 1 through 6 is on the X scale. And then, looking mathematics, I used to teach math a long time ago. Yeah, high school math. Oh boy. 10th, 11th, and 12th grade math. I told my principal, the principal of the school, I choose not to teach basic math, because then you get, these tree stumps in there that they just want to take the simplest math course possible so they can graduate high school. And I don't want to teach basic math. If you don't mind, I'd rather teach sophomore math, geometry, trigonometry, advanced geometry, algebra, and introduction to some other topics that you get in college. Like calculus. You ever heard of that? Calculus? Yes. It's really a very interesting theory of math. So I'll give you a simple solution. So let's say you've got this container right here. So you outline this container in a mathematical formula. It's almost like a real skinny, tall parabola. So, and then you spin it, and that gives you the volume. So you can actually calculate the volume of this, this device using calculus. Yes. So here's my breathing rates on the Y scale. It goes 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you got 6 values that way, going down the Y scale, and you got 6 values going across. Those are the settings on the Inogen G5 oxygen concentrator. And I drew an oblong circle. Not a circle, it would be an ellipse. Yes, and I put a little twist on it. Yeah, I can actually do that digitally. So you pick these. So I figured I'm going to use this thing and have it on 3, 4, 5, or 6, depending on my breathing rate. Yeah. Now, if you're just laying in bed, awake, watching TV, or sitting on the couch, watching the news, your breathing rate should be somewhere between 20 and 25. Probably 22. If you're really restful and you have your head back on the pillow, your breathing rate may be somewhere between 20 and 21 from my studies on the topic. And so you can see it goes inside my ellipse here, 25, 28. So you just follow my finger going across, 25, 28, 30, 32. That is a nice range. So if you start to get excited, your breathing rate is going to increase. You should turn up, your oxygen concentrator to number 4. If your breathing rate is closer to 30, then you turn it up to number 5. And turn the selector dial. Well, actually, it's a push button electronic screen kind of a thing. Put it on level 6 because your breathing rate may be up around 32. So that gives you, and then you look on the bottom scale here that's in the box. I use an ellipse up on the top and the box on the bottom. And you can see the total volume per minute. This is milliliters per minute. So this is the milliliters of oxygen per minute. So as you turn the dial up from 3, 4, 5, and 6, you can see the milliliters per minute increases from 630 to 1260 liters per minute. 1260 would be, more than a quart bottle. Just think of a quart container, that you have your half and half in, the tall one, rectangular, square, and it goes up, around 13 inches tall, maybe, or 12 inches tall. Yeah, maybe a foot tall. Yeah. I just emptied out one of those containers into my half and half into my coffee. Which I'm sipping through a straw. My Bustelo. Yeah. If you've not had Bustelo, it is a magical, it's a K-cup thing. You put it in a thing, push the thing down, push a button, and that gives you a 14 ounces of Bustelo in this stainless steel, double-walled, vacuum-sealed that holds your coffee. And the outside, is room temperature. I put a little rubber thing around here so it doesn't slip out of my hand. I got one on my coffee thing, and I have two of them when I have, same exact green doodad, but I got two rubber things around it for if I have a glass of a cup full of something cold like a Pepsi Cola. I love the Pepsi, please. Anyway, so this is page 24 of the Energen 1 pulse, volumes, and flow settings. So this is the way I think the prescription should discuss, because it corresponds to the actual turning of the increasing the settings, based on your breathing rate, and this is the milliliters per breath, so to speak, that comes out of, the Energen G5 pulse, volume, flow settings. I probably won't have it on settings 1 or 2. If I'm just sitting in my seat and we're getting ready, we're taxiing in the airplane, I'll probably have it on level 3. Once they start pressurizing the cabin, I might turn that up to 4, 5, or 6. Keep it simple. So that's how you use the device. So that's what I said here. Please note the charts taken directly from the specifications manual of the Energen G5 service manual, page 24. It may be best to show on the prescription a flow rate range between settings 3 through 6, or 630 milliliters per minute to 1260 milliliters per minute. You can see that right there in my paragraph. 1260 milliliters per minute pulse. It's always like pulsing this oxygen out into you. It's not just like a regular, it's a pulse kind of a thing. I mean, it doesn't blast you in the face. It's just almost like a breathing rate kind of thing. For breathing rates from 25 to 32. And the flow rates from 630 to 1260 milliliters per minute. About 950 milliliters, 960 milliliters is a quart. Your typical quart container. Like, may I have a quart of half and half? May I have a quart of whipping cream? It'd be the tall. Or how about a quart of just whole milk, which is 3% milk fat? That would be a quart. That's roughly 960 milliliters. A liter, which is 1,000 milliliters, milli meaning 1,000. So 1,000 milliliters is a liter. All right, 1,000 milliliters equals 1 liter. So a liter, you know what a liter size container is. It's about a container just a little bit, 5% larger than a quart. Anyway, so I'm just giving you an indication of. So 1,260 milliliters is 1.26 liters per minute. Okay. And 630 milliliters would be 0.63 liters per minute. Anyway, but they use milliliters, so I wrote my little suggestion here. Try to be as polite as possible. To avoid Medicare insurance company conflicts and issues. Maybe we should talk about the flow rates of the device, and how do you convert that to, liters per minute. Like if you're in a hospital laying in the bed and they put this thing around your head with the two little things right near your nostrils, that the lowest setting I think that they have when you're laying in bed with bronchitis would be 3 liters per minute. I had an operation, open heart surgery, 6.5 years ago. On June 5th, it'd be 7 years ago. How about that? Feel pretty good, actually. And so, I mean, when I was recovering from that surgery, they had me at 30 liters a minute. That thing was humming. As a matter of fact, they had to switch. Well, they had me, I think, in the, intensive care unit. The oxygen flow rates that come out of those little nozzles that they stick the hose in the wall, it goes up to 30 liters a minute. Not every bed in the Boca Raton Regional Hospital has 30 liter per minute nozzles. Those are reserved for rooms that are in the intensive care wing of the hospital. So when they rolled me over, they wheel you around like you're a piece of meat, and so they rolled me into a different room where the flow rate only goes to like 15 liters a minute. So so when you're laying down in that kind of situation, you're post-op, but like 2 or 3 days post-op. Open heart surgery is what they really mean is open chest surgery, and then they can get to your heart and do whatever the hell they got to do to the heart or the arteries feeding the heart. So it's really open chest surgery, so they can get to your internal organs. And they have, they cut you right up the middle, and then and they have this thing that they crank, and they crank you open, and your chest opens up, and all your organs fall on the floor. No. But really, it opens up, and then you can see your liver, you can see your lungs. I guess they spray saline on it because I was opened up for like 10 hours while they're doing quadruple bypass, and 2 of the bypasses were relatively normal, and 2 of them, it was really, really very, those arteries were almost totally sealed off. 2 of them. 90% blockage. The blood cells are going through one at a time through whatever little opening was left. So when they replaced those arteries, is essentially like an artery replacement rather than a bypass. So a bypass is like if the road is going, this way, and all of a sudden there's an accident in your lane, well, then you can go around the accident, and that's what a bypass is. It provides a path to the blood cells to go around the accident in the middle of the road. Yep, that's what the bypass is. But my bypassy, it wasn't an accident on the road. The whole mountain fell down on the road, and they figured that, we're not going to be able to fix that road. We're just going to go around it. So they went around it permanently. They took some arteries out of your mammary gland part on the top of your chest. Instead of stripping out arteries from the leg, which they did a few of those just as emergency, laid them out on a sterile piece of cloth, but they took them actually out of the top of your chest. And those arteries are the ones they used in the heart. And my Dr. Brian Bethay, cardiac surgeon, he said, you'll get about 35 years out of those arteries. With these ones down here, you get about 10 years, and then we have to go in and give you some retreads and do the bypass around the bypass. So you got double bypass. It's like lanes are closed in both directions, and we need to go around both of those. Yeah, he said, but if we use the mammary gland ones, they're good until you're about the age 112. So when you get over 112 years old, we may have to work on one of those. You're probably too old to have that kind of surgery, so hopefully we'll treat that chemically, medically, rather than surgically, because you may not survive the operation. Anyway, so this was a 2-page fax sent at 1 p.m. from my electronic fax machine, and it went to my doctor's private fax number, Dr. Lubin. And here is a certificate saying we delivered this fax on 3/4 at 1:01 p.m. Fax, that's my fax receipt. There's my cover page, and there's my page 24 of the service manual. Pretty cool, huh? There's a package I never received. Let's see, have I got anything else interesting to show you here in my fucking wagnall? I mean, I'll go on my regular diatribe in a minute. Whoops. So everyone was agitated because look who's in that car. This is someone that we met at a car show here in Boca Raton. Let's make a little adjustment here and brighten up the interior. Let's see how you can brighten up the interior with a little digital work. There we go. And you know who that is? That's Jay Leno. And he's riding around in his brand new, the Juniper version of the Model Y. So, in a silver color, with a white interior. Look at that. There he is, Jay Leno. This little spot right here on the column, there's a camera in that thing, and it faces down so it can see, you know, what's going on the driver's side of the car, and there's another one just like that on the other side of the car. Right below that little dot is a radio signal kind of thing, and that's where you tap your Tesla card to unlock the car. They tell you with the Tesla that you basically put an app on your iPhone, and your iPhone becomes your key. And when you get close to the car, it will automatically unlock itself because it recognizes you and your phone, mostly your phone, because it will emit a signal which the car can pick up. And then it'll lock itself when it senses that your phone is near the car, because they're assuming your phone is either in your hand or in your pocket or your purse, depending on whether you have a purse or not. That usually means you're probably rather than a man. Yeah. So we don't want to do that. Yeah. So he got a new Model Y, and he got one of the very first Model S cars that came off the factory line from Tesla like 10 years ago. So he said, you know what, I think he actually rode around in this car, in the Model Y, with the Franz, the actual designer of the car, and the head engineer of the factory that builds these cars. So you had the head designer with the head factory guy. Okay, I forget what the kind of title is for that guy, but I know Franz von Fritzenberger. He is the head designer. He's been there almost from day one. Tesla hired him in. Elon Musk hired Franz in to design a beautiful four-door sedan. Looks something like this, But Jay Leno really loved that car. The one where he's in right now with a white interior, and the suspension and everything about the Model Y is, they really, the drag coefficient is like 0.22, a Corvette, right? I had a Corvette in my history. When I was 20, I had a 1959 Corvette, which my mother gave me. It was actually my father's car, and my father's name was William Wilson. And my mother looked over to my father across the dining room table and said, "Bill, give Jimmy your car keys." And he had this face like, "What?" "Give Jimmy your car keys. He is going to drive himself back to college." So this is like, my second half of, I think I came home for Christmas or something or other, Christmas break. So I bummed a ride from somebody getting back from Union College back to the North Shore of Long Island, where my parents had a nice house there. And, so we moved to the North Shore of Long Island, right near Roslyn Harbor. East Hills was, the area. So I grew up in East Hills, Long Island, from the ages of 10 to 20, or 19 or something. And before that, I was from Brooklyn. How about that? Yeah, many really successful people, came from Brooklyn. Yeah, I mean, pretty exciting, including, Trumper and our 45th and 47th President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, serving now his second 4-year term of presidency, in the middle. So when he was 45th president, then Biden became the 46th president, and Trump became again the 47th president. There's only 2 presidents in the whole history of our country that skipped the middle. The middle 4-year period was a different president. And I think it's like Grover Cleveland 132 years ago or something. It was a long time ago. The only other time that's happened. And Trump here did it again because Biden just, he just faded out. Different people age differently, based on your DNA, your desoxyribonucleic acid. If you're wondering what DNA actually stands for, but most people don't remember what I just said. As a matter of fact, I don't even remember what I just said. Desoxyribonucleic acid. That's what DNA is. And RNA, what does that stand for? Ribonucleic acid. Yeah? You got desoxyribonucleic acid, and then you just have ribonucleic acid, for the RNA. And so anyway, the collector's legendary Model S just got sold. And everyone's wondering, his favorite car for riding back and forth to the grocery store, you know what he rides in? His Model S that he got 10 years ago, directly from the factory line from Elon Musk and et al. And that was the car he drove around. He's got 132 all kinds of fancy old cars, new cars, spaghetti cars, like the Lamborghini, which sounds like something that you put in a bakery dish, Anyway, but his car that he drove back and forth around town, or anywhere from here to there, he drove around in his Tesla. And he's got a brand new Juniper. This is like the hardware upgrade of the best-selling 4-door sedan in the entire planet. Can you imagine? It doesn't care if it's a gasoline motor or electric motors, with the petroleum or whatever you want in the fuel tank. It's either a petroleum product for a ICE engine, standing for ICE, internal combustion engine, spark plugs and pistons and all that kind of stuff. And you got the V8s and you got V4s, you got inline 6s, inline 4s is very popular nowadays. So that's an ICE engine as opposed to having electric motors. So the Tesla is now, this Model Y is engineered with a completely fresh design. Tesla makes all their real exotic equipment is actually manufactured in the Tesla factories. It's not like they go to Bosch, in Europe, in Germany, and say, I want a bunch of 200 horsepower engines, and then they do a gear reduction on a Bosch engine motor, electric motor, and connect it into the drivetrain to drive the front wheels and the rear wheels. A motor for the front wheel and the motor for the rear wheels. To me, they ought to have motors in all four hubs, so that you got four motors, a motor on each wheel. So there's no transaxle. They're not doing that yet, but that's where they should be. And someday they will be there. I don't know if I will be there when they do it, but that engineering has actually been done, I think, by Volvo or some affiliate of a Volvo. About 25 years ago. I remember reading in Mechanics Illustrated. Can you imagine? What the hell is that? Well, we had Electronics Illustrated. We had Mechanics Illustrated. Photography Illustrated. They had a bunch of different topics, and of course I got all those magazines. I was a technical reader when I was 10, 11, 12. Everybody's chewing bubble gum. I'm reading technical magazines. I guess it was, my mother said, you have to read more. And I said, yeah, but, really? Spot jumps over the pond? Do I have to waste my time talking about the dog Spot? No, I don't want to read about Spot. Get me Popular Science. I'll read that magazine. So she did. She said, okay, let's go to what they used to call, let's go to the candy store, where they sell smoking things like cigarettes, pipe tobacco and all that, which, as a 9-year-old, you don't want to do that. It smells bad and all that. It's not good for you, probably. And then you can get a candy bar, a Heath candy bar, if you lay down a nickel and you get yourself a candy bar. But if you turn around from the cash register and look behind you, there's a rack of magazines. And I said, Mom, I think I want this one, not that one, and that one. There's one also for airplanes, Popular Pilots, Popular Science, oh boy. There was another big magazine I used to look at when I was only 9 or 10. I looked at the pictures mostly because the articles were, way up there. You needed to be a college sophomore probably to read Scientific American. It was a very technical magazine, but I understood the pictures. I could see what they were talking about graphically better than like reading the stories. So I would just imagine what the stories are saying, and I'm looking at the diagrams, the charts, the tables, anyway. So Popular Science was a little more down on my level, like 8th grade, even though I was in 3rd grade or something or other. Yeah. So I was one of those guys. When my father went from a black and white TV to a color TV, So he had this little black and white console, like a 20-inch screen. And he's carrying that thing out to the, for the trash people to take away. Because now he's got a color TV in the living room. In our neighborhood, we were the only people in the neighborhood that had a color TV that I know of. We're going back, a number of years. Back in 1956, 7, somewhere I'm going to guess, right around there. Yep. We had a big console color TV. And my father got a service policy on it because there were so many tubes, all these new things, and the thing ran a little hot. The whole back was perforated. Material. I'm trying to think of what the material was called. Anyway, but so it had all kinds of ventilation just from natural, heat rises. So the heat, you put your hand over the back, of that TV, and you could feel the heat. So I said, Dad, I'm gonna get us an electronic fan that you would find in the back of a computer, and he says, really? I said, yeah. I'll go down to Canal Street in New York City. So I took a train, down into Manhattan, got in the subway system, went into lower Manhattan, to a street called Canal Street. And you can look it up in Google. And I have to be careful if I use words like that because it activates my devices and it starts searching off my voice. Like, hey Siri. Whoop, see the little thing that just woke up? Hey Siri, where's Canal Street in Manhattan? Will it show me? Hey Siri, where's Canal Street in Manhattan? He says, leave me alone, I'm still sleeping. Hey Siri, where's Canal Street in Manhattan?
You'll need to turn on location services for that. Want to turn it on just this once, or here it is on the map.
How about this? This is crazy nuts. Oh no. Hey Siri, where's Canal Street in New York City?
Here it is on the map.
There it is. Here it is on the map. Okay. Let's get directions. Okay, we're open. This is nuts. This is like, so I can go from here to there, from my studio here in Boca Raton. Let's see how good that is. We're going to zero in on there. Yeah, there it is. I'm on the northeast side of Royal Palm Place. The drive is 17 hours and 57 minutes. If you take the prescribed route. Oh yeah, we go all the way. I got to shrink this back. We're looking to Canal Street. Here we go. We're going up. We have to shrink it even more. Savannah, Georgia, Myrtle Beach, Washington, D.C., Baltimore. And we're going into the Canal Street. That looks about right, see? Now I grew up. Let's come over here. See where it says Glen Cove? No, that's Great Neck. No. Let's see, where is Port Washington? What's this little guy right here? Manhasset. No, it's not there. It's a different waterway. Kings Point. I went there. United States Marine Academy at Kings Point. There's Kings Point. I was there when I was 17 because I was runner-up for the state of New York. Would you believe? The President John F. Kennedy physical fitness thing. I was like in the top 5 the entire state of New York. State of New York, they got a few people in the state of New York. See where it says Roslyn? Right in here is Roslyn Harbor. Yeah, see? Roslyn Salt Cave. What the hell that is? This is where Old Northern Boulevard. Yeah, I remember these streets when I was a little whippersnipper. Yeah, there's Roslyn Pond. Oh yeah, we went there all the time. They used to call it the Duck Pond. That was the Duck Pond, and you go all the way around there. And there's a bunch of ducks in here. I don't know if I can pick them up on Google, but that's the Duck Pond. They call it Roslyn Pond, you know. But they're like ducks all over the place. They used to chase me away because they were afraid I was going to disturb their nest, you know, when they were breeding. Yeah, Nassau County Museum. So, look at that. See, East Hills? That's where, yeah, see, this Roslyn Avenue. Let's see if we can find, 495. Let's see if we can find, there it is, see, Andover Road, Andover, Andover Road. We count up a few, let's see, where's my house? I remember that. That building right there was where my doctor was. I just go through the backyard of this guy, end up right in Dr. Goldstein. Yeah, that was his house. He had an x-ray machine in there. He had a fluoroscope in there. He was a very well equipped in his own big house. You go upstairs, and his entire upstairs was his medical thing. Dr. Goldstein. And I had, let's see, now I'm looking for the house when we grew up. And it looks like it would be this one, which now has a circular driveway. Interesting. I don't remember. Yeah, I guess it's that one right there with that circular driveway. We didn't have a circular because this one that's like cockamamie. It's not quite straight. I remember the kid that grew up there who died in a car accident anyway, there's what happened to Canal. There we go. There's Canal Street right there, and you go right in there, right there, and they had all kinds of Army surplus stuff that came into there. I touched something and lost the map. Anyway, so that's Canal Street. So I used to take the subways and buses and stuff and get right there in Canal Street. Yep. But it was from East Hills to Canal Street. It wasn't from our beautiful apartment here in Boca Raton. On the 8th floor, there's a restaurant called Chops in our building. See, 101 Plaza Real South. Everybody knows, that I'm here. I'm on the faculty at FAU, so all this stuff is public knowledge. Yep, and no secrets when you're a faculty at a 30,000 student university. See Chops Lobster Bar right there? They have this whole section. You see that circle? That is, so I live directly above Chops Lobster Bar. Yep, there's the dot. Yeah, it found my iPhone. That's tracking my iPhone. There's Jimmy's face. Yes, sirree, Bob. And, yep, so if you get, the Chops Lobster Bar entrance is set back, a bit underneath the overhang. But if you step out away from the overhang a little bit and look up and count the balconies, I am 8 floors above Chops. I mean, directly above Chops. If I could drop a steel ball and go through all the concrete floors, it would beam somebody inside Chops. So I'm literally exactly above Chops if you look straight down, which this is a straight down. Oh, look at that. I can actually turn this around a little bit. So now you get a little perspective on how, the height of these buildings there. This is my favorite condo building that Bill Morris built. Yeah, look at that. Yeah. And this is our building. There you go, right there. You see the circle and the oval. Chops Lobster Bar. I'm directly above Chops because that's as close as I can drill in here. You see that overhang? You can walk right in Chops, right there in the middle of your screen. Let's get rid of that. Yep, there you go. Chops Lobster Bar. That's on the north end of the building. There we go. And you got Lemongrass, which is an Asian bistro food thingy right there in the corner. On the southeast corner is Lemongrass. And on the northeast corner of the Plaza Real building is Chops. And I'm 8 stories above Chops. Yep. And here you got some new buildings that I look straight across into their balconies, across this stuff in the middle here. And yeah, that's the what do you call it? The Boca Hotel golf course. Right around this whole thing right here. Yep, and that big tall Boca Raton. You see that right there? That you see that from the water. You can see, it's a 40 something story if you count all this. I think it's 40. It's a 40-story building. And you see the big yachts right there. They're big, $4 or $5 million boats. Yep. And then you got these condo buildings. Look at the size of that sucker. Yep. So isn't this amazing? This is real stuff here. So we're going up. The Intercoastal Waterway is basically that water. There's Palmetto Park Road, and it's one of the few roads that go from the Everglades all the way over to the ocean. And we're going east on Palmetto Park Road right now, and there is, the circular drive that goes right to the beach, and there you are. That's the Palmetto Park Road Pavilion. It's a public, anybody can ride around there and find a parking place, and you go right there. Marilyn gets a parking pass. She pays, $75 a year or whatever, and she can. And right in here, if we go straight up and down again, you see all these cars in here. This is a big parking thing all the way around underneath all these trees. This is South Beach. Maryland on Sundays, every once in a while, goes to South Beach. It's a little more of a private beach, you see here, and you can walk around. You can sit in the shade. I think the next time she goes to South Beach, I'll go with her. I don't like her going by herself. So I'm going to go with her. Oh, and she's got a parking pass, so we just park right in here and then come down one of these little pathways. I can't get in the sun because my skin is susceptible to skin cancers, So I sit in the shade. What the hell? I'd rather sit in the shade than, not be here. Literally. Yeah, we got married at the Boca Hotel. How about that? So that's a pretty store right here in the cloisters. You see right here, right in this, somewhere in this, I I think over in here. That might be the cloisters. Let's see if I shrink back. Does it say anything about cloisters? Look at all those tennis courts. You got pickleball and you got tennis, you know, and pickleballs. I don't know. It's like the developers decided, let's invent something with paddles and this wiffle ball. You know, a ball that's hollow in the middle and they have holes drilled all the way around it. You know, it's like a wiffle ball. And you got hard paddles instead of strings in a tennis racket. They look like ping pong paddles. And they're whacking this wiffle ball back and forth. And it's a court that's like the half size of a court. See, those are pickleball courts. And these, the bigger ones, are tennis courts. You know, come on. But see, look at the. You can get twice as many pickleball courts as you get on a tennis courts. Anyway, those are the tennis courts with the. If you stay at the Boca Resort, you know, that's it right there. They've got some fine restaurants and places in there. And you're right over here. Yeah, right in these buildings. Not that condo building. This right in here. And then this is a resort. And so we had our honeymoon. We went over here to the Boca Resorts right in here and stayed, let's see, in this building right here. Yeah, this is, do I have this right? No. It's over here. See where they got the pools and they got the beach? We stayed in these rooms here. Yep. So we actually stayed over here for a week or 10 days. And I was out in the sun too long. I got like French fries. I got fried. Yeah, we both got fried. So this, that condo wasn't there at the time. That one I just clicked my finger on. The touch screens are very sensitive. Anyway, so there's the blue dot. This is where I am. I can zoom in again and do my little 2-finger thing and slide it up and down, and you can see, you can turn this all the way around and I can look east. And if I look east, there we go. I look right between these buildings and I can see the Boca Hotel if I look, right towards the beach. Yeah, this is my view from my balcony. This is a relatively new condo right in here. The Ocean Residences at Boca Raton. Look at that. This is a curved building. It wraps around the entire Boca Inlet. And these people see the ocean. Nice development. You want one of those condos, costs you about $5 million. Yeah. There's so much money in Boca Raton, you couldn't even add it up. If you just try to add up all the values of all these condos, and people, and there's no mortgages, it's all cash. Someone owns some, a ball bearing factory in Long Island City. His father built it, and then he built it up further, and the guy became 70 years old and he sold it, moved down to Florida with $130 million in cash, and he took $8 million of it and bought one of these condos. Yep, that's the story of all this stuff on the beach. Yep. I like, quite frankly, C101 Plaza Real South. I'm drilling into it right now, 101 Plaza Real South. This is where I live. Yep. Right above Chops. Let's see. There we go. So it's interesting. It's like we're flying around with this map. Quite amazing. All right. We've searched enough of that. So just talking about one little newsy thing. There we go. Let's see if my housekeeper is really seeing us today. I'm all set for her to show up. I hope she answered my text message. Oh boy. Let's see. You can't see this. It's not that you can't see it. I'll show it to you. What the heck? Let's, there's Nicole Jones. I want known senders. Yeah, Trump, my son sent me, good morning. I got a good morning message from my housekeeper at 9:03 a.m. She'll be here at 11. See you at 11, I'll say. Perfect. P-A-P-E-R-F-E-C-T. Perfect. 11 a.m. There we go. I have her, the money that she'll earn when she does her housekeeping, plus a little tip. Yeah. I think she's from Honduras. It seems like she went to Honduras. I said, for God's sakes, be careful. Don't hurt yourself. They got some pretty serious neighborhoods in Honduras. Well, we visited Honduras from a cruise ship, and I stayed in all the protected areas. And you go off, and they tell you, don't go over here. And I just stepped over the area where you're not supposed to go. I kind of lost my way back to, some bar somewhere in the beaches of Honduras. So I looked around. I said, "Oh yeah, there's our cruise ship. Let's go. Let's go around the corner." And I had a real fancy professional camera I was carrying, and I figured, "Oh crap, I'm gonna get knocked over the head, and someone's gonna grab my equipment." I said, "Marilyn, step. You see those two guys over there? They're double taking us. If we go towards them, they're gonna grab my camera. So we need to walk more quickly." So we step up our walking almost to running, and got back in the area that's the safe area of the Honduras, British Honduras, or whatever they called it at the time. I won a sales contest. I was one of the 10 people that sold more cameras than anyone else in the United States that worked for Wolf Camera. And they had 7,700 salespeople trying to win this trip. It was a cruise. Yeah. I won it 2 years in a row as a part-time. This drove them nuts. No one in the entire southeastern United States of the country has won a trip, this trip. It's the number of cameras that you sell, the volume of the cameras that you sell, plus the service policies on those cameras that you sell. They add all that up from October, November, December, January. October, November, December. It's a 4-month period, a third of the year, the most exciting third of the year because, it's coming up on Christmas and New Year's and all that, and different faiths have different things they celebrate. By giving presents, sometimes people buy other people cameras. So, I was teaching, I'm an adjunct faculty at FAU teaching principles of digital photography. How about that? I wrote a laboratory manual, had it published by Pearson Education, as most of you know, And that was the book that we used at my class. Had the same name, Principles of Digital Photography. And I had a number of plastic surgeons and heart surgeons. A goodly number of medical professionals took my class because they would take or are caused to take pictures of their procedures or when they do plastic surgery on a face and make the 60-year-old woman look like she's 42. Yeah. Well, they would take pictures, before and after, That's my story about the surgery situation. Yeah. With teaching digital photography. So I was teaching at FAU, and I was part-time at Wolf Ritz Camera. Wolf was in the mall. It had about 1,000 square foot store in the mall, down near the Sears end of the mall. A big corridor leading right to Sears. And we were like 5 or 6 stores, in the corridor leading to, Hallmark Cards is across the way, and we're over here in Wolf Camera. And you go all the way down this way to Sears, yeah. So that's where we were. Schlepping cameras. So, apparently I was like number 4 or 5 or 6, somewhere there. May have been in the top 5 in the United States. How about that? Part-time salesman at Wolf Camera. I win a trip for Marilyn and I, all expenses paid. Not only all expenses paid, they gave me $500 in cash so I could buy stuff when I was, cruising. You buy stuff either on the ship, you buy stuff in the port of call. There were like 5 stops we made. It was an 8-day trip all the way down the west coast of Mexico, Mazatlan, and, nice place. A very, very nice cruise. Royal Caribbean Lines. And the next year I won the trip also. And then we flew into Galveston, Texas, and got on a cruise ship and went all the way down the east coast of Mexico, the Yucatan Peninsula, came out of the Gulf of America, they now call it. Not the Gulf of Mexico, it's the Gulf of America. Trump renamed it. And if you don't change your maps, they're not going to talk to you anymore. Trump is such a tough guy, I grew up with all these kind of guys. They all came from Brooklyn, Queens, Jamaica. Wow. It's amazing if, the number of, not self-included, I was like on the most, I'm an oddball. But, Trump came from, I think it's like Jamaica Heights. I was born at Mary Immaculate Hospital, Jamaica, Queens. Yeah. Remember Eddie Murphy, Queens? Saturday Night Live, all those crazy wacko people. Well, they all live out on Long Island. They're neighbors of mine. These producers, directors of these TV shows, for NBC, CBS, ABC. And I had 3 networks. That's where everything came through. All right, good morning. We look forward to your excellent housekeeping duties for apartment 812 at Royal Palm Place. Like she knows exactly where I am. Wednesday, beginning approximately noon, plus or minus 30 minutes. Good morning. I'll see you at 11. Yes. Please confirm the time you will arrive. That's the last little paragraph there with a smiley face. See you at 11. Perfect. 11 a.m. So I have committed back to her that I got her message. That way she knows I know, and I know what she knows. So we're good to go. But they say verbal orders don't go. Everything has to be confirmed in writing. Yeah. Anyway, so Marco Rubio face tells the story as Trump. Oh, Trump didn't humiliate him. What are you talking about? This is the Daily Beast. A bunch of liberal jerks. He's the Secretary of State. He's a 10-year senator. He's, was our senator from the state of Florida. We've met him, a long time ago at the Lynn University, the home of the debate with Romney and Barack Obama. And we were in the spin room. Can you believe it? Because we represented the oldest privately owned newspaper in the state of Florida. Yep. And Marilyn and I were interviewing the people in the spin room. She was my news lady, and I was the cameraman. Oh boy, it was fun. It was really exciting. I mean, if you have any political vibrations in your body whatsoever, if you can get in the spin room for the national debate for President of the United States, you could just feel the pulsation of all this stuff, big satellite dishes and all there are 84 networks from around the world, in the news media, the whole media thing. The power requirements for all the transmissions that were coming and going from, the debate, they actually trucked in like 24 40,000 kilowatt generators. 40,000 watt there was like 24 of them, because the backbone of Lynn University didn't have enough power to service all the news. It was like, oh my God, the focus of all this energy, electronic energy, political energy, for a debate between Barack Obama and Romney. Was a really good candidate. He started running over Romney, and then all of a sudden you had this Hurricane Sandy that went up and just came right into, Manhattan. It was like a bullseye for Manhattan. So the subways were all flooded, and it was a complete mess. There's Bill Gates when he was a little whippersnipper on your screen left. Yeah. Wow. AI, artificial intelligence. Yeah. It's not so. It's programming. I used to code artificial intelligence. COBOL was a program back years ago. I think the OPM, the Office of Personnel Management, is actually their computers are programmed with COBOL, COBOL, Common Business Oriented Language. I was a COBOL programmer. Right now there's C++ and, hold on a second. Yeah, I need a little something to wet my whistle. So programming, when you're programming a computer or programming an iPhone, these iPhone devices are absolute magical. Computers, communicators that we carry around in our hand, and the camera things on the back, you see that. I'm trying to get a reflection so you can see the three cameras. There you go. See the three lenses? There you go. See them right there? I have an apple on the back of my case, because Marilyn's got the identical phone Mine has an Apple logo glued onto the back, and hers is just straight black. I think I got a black phone, a black case. There you go. I'll take the case off so you can see the... There you go. So this is the phone with... Here's the case with the black thing on it, and here's the phone. The beautiful iPhone. You can see that camera bump. There, you see that right there? Yeah, everybody that's got a new phone, this is what it looks like. And I took I have a... You see... you can see that the background on my phone is actually an X-ray of, an iPad, actually. That's my background. Can you imagine? So I slide this up, and there you go. And I get all the icons. The screen's a little bit too bright. The video camera on my studio here is so sensitive to light. Now I've got this almost turned down so low I can barely see it. You see, it's almost 10 o'clock. It's 9:56. Yeah, I started this conversation. It's, what day it is. Whoops, what happened there? There we go. It's the 5th. Yep. Number 5. 5th of March. On March 14th, we're going up to the Washington, D.C. area to visit my daughter, who lives actually in Maryland, would you believe? She lives on the water that leads right to the Chesapeake Bay. So she had a navigable ship. She could go right out there and get out into the ocean, I guess. Yeah. So I've been checked out by my doctor, and I promised my doctor I would not do X, Y, and Z. And he says, "Okay, you're not grounded for the trip." They grounded me. You can't go. I told Marilyn, I said, I can't go, but my doctor, my blood oxygen level is too low. And if I get too excited, I can't run through the, there you go. Next month we get some of our emojis back. Like I'm really worried about that, huh? Boy. So, I'm not grounded. We're trying that fax I just showed you with the G5 thing. See that fax? Yeah. I have an electronic fax. How cool is that? It's not a machine where you feed in paper anymore. No, it's all electronic. See, there's a button down here. Here's my fax machine. I'm showing you my fax machine. Remember I showed you a fax? So here's my sent faxes. I just push that button. And see the top one that says Dr. Lubin? I'll touch that one. And you see right here? There's my fax. Yep. And there's my chart. See the chart? With the ellipses and, yeah. And there's a fax receipt here somewhere. So I can, see. Oh, show confirmation. There we go. You see, here's my confirmation. Delivered. So you get that blue stamp, and then here's a reduction of my two-fade. A couple of days before, Monday. Tuesday. That was yesterday. Today's Wednesday. All right, let's go look at Monday's fax to my doctor. See, I like to I don't like to call in and speak to some lady, and then you leave a verbal message, and you don't know, if, whether they got it or not. So here's my fax. I sent a 6-page fax yesterday. It's all my insurance information because I changed insurance companies to United Healthcare. Remember the CEO that got gunned down in Manhattan? by this crazy Italian guy who's on trial now for murder. That's United Healthcare. They're the CEO of a company, big healthcare insurance thing, AARP, United Healthcare. Ever heard of it? People have heard AARP, right? Red letters. Yep, that's we're members of AARP, which permits us as members to buy United Healthcare. Anyway, so I'm telling my doctor, here's my new PPO insurance. So they got all my insurance information there, and that was the fax I sent him on Monday, because we're trying to get this G5 Inogen medical equipment. We're trying to get that, in my travel bag, so when I go to visit my daughter, I have, this portable oxygen thing to help my blood oxygen, because sometimes it drops below 90, and you can fall on your face if it gets too much lower than that. So I have a portable oxygen thing that just gives me a little boost of oxygen. So instead of breathing 20% oxygen, which is in our atmosphere, with this oxygen concentrator made by Inogen, I get a little higher oxygen. I get, like 40% oxygen instead of. I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's a nice little portable thing that you can carry in your hand, or carry it on your shoulder strap. I'm looking for a picture of it. I know it's not easy being queasy. There we go. I'm looking for it. I'm paging through all these photos. I have everything into photos in my photo album. I got like 98,000, literally 98,000 photos in this stupid, in my iPhone and my iPad, all my iDevices. I'll show you. There's about. How many photos do I have? 99,000. You see right there in the middle of your screen left, I'm shaking it. See where it says photos, videos? I've got 99,485 photos. Apps, the apps, you go to the App Store, I have 493 of them. Yeah, this phone is stuffed. I have a 1 trillion bytes of capacity memory. That's 1 terabyte. That's 1,000 gigabytes, in case you're wondering. It's an order of magnitude of 1024. It's 1,024 gigabytes equals a terabyte. And of that capacity, I have 353 gigabytes available. The rest is all tied up with photographs, apps, videos. Only 38 songs. See, my network is AT&T. Oh, yes. And my Apple Care, which is like a service policy on your phone, renews every month for like $13 a month. And on the 23rd of March will be my next renewal thingy. And what's covered? Everything. I can lose it. Hardware service, accidental damage, or Apple Care Plus. Also, you can lose the stupid thing. Here's Apple support. I can press. This is all live now. I'm not gonna do it because. Ooh. Yeah, I don't need to see all those. So I've got my 13-inch iPad Pro here, which I've got my hands on right now. But these are all the devices. You can imagine. There's my son's phone. There's my other son's phone. We all have this in this one giant AT&T, thing. There's my Apple Watch. You see it right there. I can touch that, and here's the support topics. Remember, we're in the service side of this. So Jim's Watch Series 10. Got it on my wrist right here. And touch the face of it. And it shows March 5th. It's 10:05. And I had my phone in theater mode, so it wouldn't, ring. But you can see the serial number and the version of the software over here in the left part of the screen, which I'm jiggling right now, you can see. Apple has these weird serial numbers. J04T, J19. Instead of having a serial number that says 10,438,000, no, you got these letter alphabets, alphanumeric, There's only 10 digits per digit, right? 1 through 9, then it goes to 10. As you can see with my counter over here. You can see it right there. I'm pointing my finger at it. Yeah. See, 50, 60. It's 1 hour, 37 minutes on air here. 5 seconds, 6 seconds. Yeah. All right, so we're looking at the service arrangement. So we can close that down. We don't need to talk about it. So anyway, I was just showing you 98,000 pictures. There's like Apple Care Plus is what you want on all of your Apple devices. In case that you need any kind of service, they take care of it. It costs anywhere from $10 to $13 a month. And I've had, all of a sudden something doesn't work. You go into the Apple store and say, here, I want this one, you give me that one. It's technology. These computers are, an iPad is an unbelievable computer that's this thin. The whole screen, I got it plugged in here because it's connected to my MacBook here. So everything that I have on this screen, you can see. I can go full screen here. And now you see my entire iPad. Remember we were looking at faxes and all that? Let's go to our network and see what our bandwidth is. You are connected to the internet. Oh, no kidding. Let's see our internet speed. 30 milliseconds on the ping. They ping it, it's almost like in a submarine. Ping! And how fast does that ping come and go? It takes 30 milliseconds. That's 30 thousandths of a second. That's not a real good... That's a pretty long ping. Should be like 12 milliseconds. So you can see that my download speed is 162 million bits per second, which is not so good. I'm going to give it an average ranking. And the upload speed is 51 megabits per second. I need about 22 megabits per second. I need 22 million bits per second to operate this broadcast, which is simulcasted. Can you imagine? It's not just two places at the same time. It's three places. 3 social networks. Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and Twitter X Live is carrying this broadcast live. You can call into me and be on the show if you want. You can send me a text and you can say read it, but don't read it out loud. Or you can say read it out loud. Or I can show it on here, We have technology here, folks. Get rid of the maps. There's my chart. Yeah. Oh, here. Look at this. Here's the user manual for the Energen 1G5 that I want. See, the lady has the little thinger, So if I get a little winded, She's just carrying it right on her little. That's how big it is, or how small it is. And that's the Energen G5 portable oxygen concentrator. This is what it looks like when you take it out of the travel bag. And there's the little pipe that the oxygen comes out of. You got a plus or minus, on, off, you know. This is your controls. Yeah, this is the actual user manual for this Energen device. You know, see page 24. There's the graphs and cautions and you know, don't smoke with this one. See the top of the G5 oxygen concentrator. You see all the buttons. See, I'm one of these guys that actually reads these things. Yep, because I want to know how it works. Yeah, there you go. You can see number 5 is the display. What does that show you? That tells you how many hours it's been running. It's delivering oxygen, where it's delivering 86% pure oxygen. That's what or the battery. Maybe that's the battery. Is 86% charged. Let's look at number 5. The audible alert button. Yeah, shows you the power and the battery level. Yeah. So that everything to the left of that solid line has to do with the battery. It tells you it's going to run for another around 45 minutes, and then it's going to go poof. Because they got it set, see where 8 is at level 6, which is giving you the highest level of oxygen concentration that the machine can do, which delivers 1,260 milliliters of oxygen per minute. So you're getting a little more than a quart of pure oxygen, you know, as a concentration, adding to the oxygen you're breathing in anyway. You know, so you get a combined effect. So number 1 is how you turn it on. You just press that button and hold it for a little bit, and that turns it on. And when you want to turn it off, you press and hold it for a second, and then it will turn it off. There you go. So a green light indicates breath detection. A yellow light indicates either a change in operating status or a condition that may need some kind of response, you know, from the user. Yeah. So a flashing light is a higher priority than non-flashing. So some of these things will flash, or they'll just be steadily lit. Okay. You got intake vents. There you go. See, it comes in from the sides. And there's a little DC thing, you know, so you can disconnect the battery. You get the double battery and the not double battery. Here's a little exhaust vents to keep the electronics in the G5, you know, they throw some fresh air in there to or blow out, you know, heated air because of the electronics that's required in there to create this oxygen concentration. There you go. See, you can plug it in right there, and it'll run off the plug instead of running off the battery, and it will simultaneously charge the battery. Here's the oxygen tube. You just stick right on that little stainless steel connector. So, yeah, operating, I pretty much understand that stuff. And you got plus and minus, so if you touch that little wheel-looking thing right there next to the 6th, you can go negative, so you can be on 5, 4, or 3. Remember that oblong chart I sent? There's the double battery and there's the standard battery. Yeah. They set you up with the standard, and you can buy the double battery, which is expensive. It's like $600 for the stupid battery. Phew. And if you want a spare charger to go with it, that's another $150 or something, or $200. You know, so for the double battery and the external charger, it's $1,000. I mean, it's like crazy. Yep. The standard battery gives you 7 hours of use. There's a separate charger with the spare battery. So I either get another spare battery, or I just get a double battery as a spare, and then run off the double. Let that charge up the single. Keep that in the side pocket. Run off the double one, and when it starts, running down, you plug it in, charge it back up, and this way you get like 14 hours of possible use. Worst case, you got half that, which is 7. Running at full blast. When they spec out the battery and how long it runs, it's setting 1, number 1 on the chart, instead of number 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Here's the product numbers for the different AC and DC external battery charger. You got the carry bag. You can see the batteries, the BA500 and the BA516. Yep, area. See, here's a service manual. Shows you how to service this thing. And you pull out that black doodad, the handles. You can see it's a wire handle, stainless steel handle, and pulls out this thing. Pictured in 8A and 8B. You see that right there? And you open up that container, and you put new things. You put a new one of those in there. Yeah, that column. And you pay $180, and you pull this thing out and you put a new one in. Now this machine, with the way the insurance runs, is you don't buy this thing, you rent it. So if it needs servicing, they do it. Here's page 24. Yeah, see the 24 down in the lower right corner there? There you go. This is the chart I sent the doctor. I got rid of the top and bottom of it. I did a print screen right out of the service manual right here. Just did, the top. There you go. There's the print screen. And I just come up here. Whoops. And there we go. We got a nice picture of page 24. And if you want to draw pictures, just touch this pen up here. Let's touch that down. Let's do it in. We'll do it in blue this time instead of red. And I'm going to draw what I drew for. I'm just going to do an oblong. See here, I do this, and hold it for a second. Then go. There's my oblong. Whoops. I don't want that. Yeah. And down here, I'm going to just hold my finger on here and go. You see the top where it says 6, 3 to 6, and I go right here and connect it and hold it. Now it's a box. So now you've just seen how I have electronically edited, and I'm going to say done, and I'm going to save it to photos. And now that picture, of the service manual is right there. I'll put a little heart on it. So this is, now when I sent this thing on the fax, you know, if I look at the actual fax, go to page 2 here. I'll hold it up to the camera here. Oops, I got a producer show add Jimmy back in. There you go. See, I did it, it's red. Just to show you, you know, that this is a real digital editing exercise. I'm always teaching. I did it in blue just so it's different from the one I did in red. But that's, see how simple that is? I mean, it's really these digital devices. Yeah, see, there's a print screen of the cover of today's edition of Flipboard. You see down over here it says Flip, this little black box down on this corner. So if you're in Flipboard, which I'm now in Flipboard, and it's updating all these pages, SpaceX is getting ready to launch test flight number 8. And that's when is that going to happen? That's going to happen tomorrow. So this huge 400 foot, it's big. You don't realize how big this is. It looks like a little toy thing, but it's huge. It's like a 40-story office building, but it's a stainless steel rocket ship. It's not just steel painted. It's frickin' stainless steel, number 301 stainless steel. Oh boy, it's so you can maybe touch on this somewhere and get watch SpaceX launch. Absolutely, are you kidding? Jimmy is there. I've got a bunch of wheels on it, see? That's the thing that they ride on this highway. The sucker thing empty weighs 500,000 pounds. This is just the top part. 502,000 pounds empty. And then when they load it with the fuel, the booster and this thing combined has over 10 million pounds of rocket fuel and liquid oxygen. That's the combined weight. 10 million pounds. That's a lot of pounds. That's, that they feed into there's 2 tanks inside this one, and there's 2 tanks inside the booster. Let's see. That's it right there. 15 seconds to go. It's blasting off. Whew. You add it up. It's about 403 foot tall. There it is. See, 403 foot tall. I said 400, so sue me for 3.5 feet. 123 meters tall. It used to be 100 meters tall. They've made it a little bit taller. They've added a little more fuel capacity. They've skinnied up the tanks a little bit, and I think put some more insulation on them, because the rocket fuel and the liquid methane CH4, if you know anything about the alternating common. Anyway, so you got a carbon atom with 4 hydrogen atoms surrounding a carbon atom. That's CH4. That's methane. Remember, methane, ethane, propane, butane, heptane, isooctane. You remember isooctane? That's gasoline. Isooctane meaning that is a mixture of different flavors of octane, because it's a fractional distillation from the black, unrefined fuel oil that's comes out of the ground. It goes to a fractional distillation plant between Houston and New Orleans. There's several fractional distillation plants there, and one of the products of that is isooctane, which is gasoline. So they fractionally distill the crude oil to produce isooctane, which they have higher refined limits. They have regular high test. Remember that? The high test, low test, medium test. There's 3 different, burn rates, basically, of the isooctane. Well, methane. If you compress methane and chill it, the gas sublimes into a liquid. Sublimation is the process of a gas becoming a liquid. So if you chill it like minus 200 degrees Fahrenheit and put it under high pressure, you get liquid methane. And they do the same thing with oxygen, liquid oxygen. We were talking about oxygen concentrators for Jimmy to take on his trip, right? Well, the oxygen that this thing needs to blast off is liquid oxygen. They take gaseous oxygen and compress it, oh my God, 15,000 pounds per square inch, and chill it to minus 200 degrees, and the gaseous oxygen becomes liquid oxygen. They call it LOX. LOX. Liquid oxygen. So they call it LOX. Yep. And there's a very high density of oxygen in there. It's like, here's the, remember this where the booster, this looks small, right? It's not small. It's, this is like a 30-story office building, with a diameter of 30 feet. Yeah, it's a 30-foot diameter of that picture you just saw. There it is. And it's getting caught by these calipers that open up and close around the body of the booster, and it gently just floats right into there because of the steering. These are on gimbals, and they can steer the output of these 3 rocket engines. Yeah, there's only 3 of them working. Of the 33 engines, there are only 3 in the middle that they need to slow the descent of this the booster. Yeah. Meantime, see the others, the top is all 3 engines are running, getting the speed up to like 25,000 kilometers per hour. It's only at 13,000. Yeah, which is 10 times the speed of sound. You see where it says LOX, that's liquid oxygen, and CH4 is liquid methane. These are fuel gauges to tell you how much fuel is left in the second stage. See, here's the first stage, the booster landing back at where it took off from 6 minutes ago. Yeah. It's like a 6 or 7 minute round trip. Yeah. And then it says 17 minutes after liftoff. The second stage the ship, the rocket ship, which is the top end of this. Sorry. It's like you're going up and down an elevator. Yeah. So, 17 minutes after liftoff, the upper stage, stage 2, will start deploying 10. They're not actually satellites. They're just, it's like a Pez machine, and they're popping out satellites that'll be the similar size and shape and weight to the actual satellites if they were doing it. So that way, when they launched, this spaceship that goes back and forth from Earth until storage places that are either around the Earth or on the lunar surface. That's where they're going to stage the spacecraft that's going to go to come out of the middle of the Earth to work as a common citizen. Yep, that's how that works. Anything else hidden in this page that we should go to? So for $47.99, let's go there just for the hell of it. If I had one of these sitting behind me, Marilyn would have a fit, I think. This is an actual scale model of the ship and the booster. Look at that, in a box. And for $47, look at that, you get it. Let's see, I can have it by March 17th. I can send myself a March 20th birthday present, and it would be look at this, all these spaceships. These are all scale models of what's going on at SpaceX, apparently. And here is for $47. Is there anything? Let's look at the other pictures. Yeah, it's 32 centimeters tall. It's, you see, it's silver. It breaks in half. Oh, look at that! It even got the engines underneath, so you can see the 6 engines underneath the second stage, and the 33 Raptor engines. Whoops. There you go. In the bottom. Look at that. I mean, these guys are nuts. So I don't know what this is made of. There's the 3 engines there. 6 engines. And this is 33 engines if you count them. Take my word for it. And there's the spaceship. Sits on top of the booster. There's the spaceship. There's the booster. And there's the spaceship and the booster. There's 2 of them, side by side. And this tells you the Starship is 160 feet tall. That's like a 16-story office building. That is, see here, 30 feet in diameter. You got 1,200 tons of propellant fuel. And it has a payload capacity of 100 tons. Yeah. Or 220,000 kilograms. Yeah. 220,000 kilograms. Woo. Or 100, I think it's like 112 tons. Remember 2,200 pounds per ton? You can multiply that out, and that's how many pounds. It's a lot. 220,000 pounds of payload capacity. Yeah, it could be people, it could be things, it could be equipment. He's trying to go to Mars and set up a colony there, in the next 10 years or so. I think what we're going to do, from what I hear, and I'm not connected in any way with SpaceX or have any secret people feeding me. This is just from news reports I have read, scientific journals and everything, people that have interviewed Elon Musk or other, senior people at SpaceX. Yeah. Like Mrs. Shotwell. How about that for a name for somebody who's working in spaceships? Shotwell. Yes, there is a Mrs. Shotwell. She is the president of SpaceX. How about that? Yes. So, if you're talking to her or Elon Musk, they avail themselves to the media, and you learn all about this stuff. Anyway, so you can get a model of this, and I'm going to cancel the picture. I'm in the picture mode of, what do you call it? Amazon.com. Yeah. So for Prime members, I would get it somewhere between March 17th and March 20th. It's got a 30-day refund or replacement guarantee as a what do you call it? I'm a member of Prime membership. As a member of something, you pay $100 a year, and then they, here's another model. We're looking at models. Can you believe it? Marilyn, forgive me. What? I think my housekeepers are here. Okay, I'm going to have to excuse myself. I've been on the air 2 hours and 8 minutes. So listen, you all have a great day. I have to go because they're going to clean my place right now. And there are two ladies that run around here like whirling dervishes. They chase the cats all over the place. See you tomorrow.